Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look and playing and watching another replay of course, the T95, the Doom Turtle. So, is the Doom Turtle all doom? Some people may say so, and once upon a time I was one of those people that just absolutely hated the tank. Honestly, I really did hate this tank. I think it sucked, and it really did suck. But you know, over the years, you play it more often, you get to know how to play the tank, and then all of a sudden, you know what, it's not actually a bad little tank. When I say little, I meant big. So, you know, you have to play it. Like a lot of tanks, you have to know how to play the tank. You can't just think, you know what, this tank has got so much armor, I can just go forward and I'm going to bounce everything. Because it doesn't quite work the way that you want it to work. You have to still try. You have to play it to its advantages. And then when you play it to its advantages, it will give you a little bit of love. Now, I think the armor is great. Of course, there are weak points, and you're going to see it in this replay, really. Before we take a look at the stats, you can see by the replay that just look how the guy plays. Look how the guy plays, and it's a classic, absolute classic example of how you should be playing this tank. And now, what I mean by that, he's got no support around him at all. He is basically all on his own. So what he's doing is he is sticking to the red line as much as he possibly can. Now, luckily, the WZ has now gone, so that is at least one tank less that is all around him. And you know, it's one of the slowest tanks in the game. Wargaming did actually buff the Traverse a little while ago, so it's a little easier to turn if a tank is trying to kind of circle of death you. At least it does turn just a little bit more quicker. Now, unfortunately, as you can see here, it is a 2 versus 5, and he is getting absolutely hammered from all directions. But keep an eye on that bounces, on the bounce, the blocked damage, because 6,440 currently at the minute, and he is doing his job. Yes, he is getting penetrated as well, but you know, even if he dies right now, he has done his job. And I wanted to show this replay because I wanted to show, you know, you don't always have to face an enemy to get bounces, especially if it is coming up against some tier 8s. It can still work, and if you're angled, you can still get bounces from the side and of course from the rear, but you can't rely on the armor really from the side or the rear. You've just got to get a bit lucky. So far 7,100 blocked damage, but he's also got 6,700 damage, but unfortunately for him, doesn't have many hit points left, but he has managed to take care of that annoying AMX CDC. So it just leaves now 2 tanks left alive, but against both tanks he is a one-shot. Now, he's got a waffle coming up that he does have to be careful of, and of course he does have the tortoise as well. Now, a tortoise versus a T95 will actually be an epic ending, but just unfortunately for our guy here, he just doesn't really have the hit points. If he just had a little bit more hit points, then this would have been a finale, like a really good finale. But just unfortunately for him, he doesn't really have the hit points. Now, nice HE shot there into the waffle to get him gone. So he is now a 1 versus 1. A T95, a Doom Turtle versus the Tortoise. So a turtle versus the tortoise. Now, 4 kills, 7,800 damage plus 7,100 block damage. Anything is possible, but the only thing with these 2 tanks left alive against each other is of course time. There isn't much time at all. Now, he does get an unfortunate bounce into the tortoise, but he does bounce him. So that's now 7,500 damage, and look at the angles he's trying to get himself. He's getting himself into an angle, and at this point, with just 15 seconds left alive, you know, there's no point risking it. You're just going to die. He's still a couple of shots away, so you may as well just, well, he's not giving up. He's not giving up. He's still going for it, and he could die right now, but he didn't care. He wanted just to get the damage, and overall finishes on 8,800 damage, which is crazy for this tank. And of course, not just that, but also 8,000 block damage. Together, that is an absolutely epic battle in the T95. So well done to Galaxy there. Very, very well played, and unfortunately he just couldn't get the win, but that is for me more than a win. Like the damage he done, the block damage he done, was more than a win. Now, of course, you can get the turtle camouflage. I think this turtle camouflage looks fantastic. I really, really do, but currently I don't have it. So let's just look at the stats now. 1,600 hit points. It's got 305 front armor. Now you've got to remember the lower plate isn't as strong, and people will be able to penetrate that lower plate, so just be careful of that. You got a DPM of 2,880, which is okay. Your reload is 13.3 seconds. Your penetration is 276 on your AP, 320 on your APCR, and 90 on your HE. You do have a very nice 640 alpha, which is actually quite nice, and especially if you can use HE on the thing, because you've got 960 on your HE, 545 on your APCR. Now the aim time 3.6 I don't think is bad for what the tank actually is, and your dispersion 0.344 with only 5 degrees of gun depression. So do bear in mind that your gun depression is like non-existent, and of course only 20 kilometers per hour speed as well. Now you do have the improved engine power boost, which really does help the tank. I'm glad Wargaming did add this tank, because especially to the start of the battle, it just helps you get into certain like positions a bit more quicker, because without that it does take a long time to get into position. So it can be very, very annoying, especially if the team go the other way, like the long way. You don't really want to go on your own, but by the time you get there with the team, half the team could even be dead. So yeah, that's the annoying, but with the improved engine power speed boost, that really does help you just to get there a little bit quicker. Now, as I've said, with the armor profile, like you see in the first game, he was always trying to angle. He was angling as much as he possibly can, and you have to do that to get the most out of that armor. And again, you can bounce from the side, you can bounce on the rear-ish if you're angled, but yeah, people will be able to HE your rear, so do be careful on that, because again, it's an American tank. Americans normally have weak behinds, so again, you don't want anyone getting around you. You don't want anyone being able to circle you. And even here, you can see I'm just trying to get as close to the building as I possibly can. But if you've got teammates surrounding you, if you've got a bit of protection from your teammates, then of course you can play it a little bit more risky. And I don't even know why I even... There's 4 or 5 tanks all around me, 4 tanks around me on my team. Why did I even push for that? I really don't know. But so far, I haven't really bounced too much. I mean, 380, but we have got 2,400 damage. And I do get a block there from the 260. And actually, that shot there was quite a nice snapshot, and very, very important snapshot, because that now brings him down to a 1-shot. There's plenty of hit points left. Not too worried about that guy. Could just get rid of him, but getting rid of him, I have now taken a few shots, but I still managed to bounce 970 damage. So, you know, without that block damage, I would be dead right now, and it would be a 3 versus 3. I have a 1-shot that is now gone, so it's very important at this stage in the game that I keep my hit points as long as I possibly can. Now, of course, I do want to take care of that object 268, but I don't want to have to turn and then get deleted. Now, no idea where that shot went, and I really could have done with that penetrating, because that would bring that XM down to a one shot, and that isn't a very strong tank that I will be able to clear. But luckily he hasn't penned me for a couple of shots, so I have got a bit of block damage. Hello 268, quickly take care of him, but in the end I just wasted a shot and I didn't need to take that. But you know, it's one of those things, you both shoot at the same time, you're a little bit slower. But right now it is a 2 versus 2. Now the reason I'm not going to rush in, because one, I've only got half of my hit points, and two, we have the base, so we've got 750. So at the end of the day, it's going to be these guys that have to make the move. We haven't got the hit points. I mean, my guy next to me, he's now a one shot. So I do really want to push this XM, get rid of him, because that is a strong tank out of the game. And it is just going to leave me and this Camp Panzer 50T alone. And being alone with a medium tank, it is honestly not ideal. It isn't ideal, but what is ideal was that fire that I just done to that guy. Now this is where I almost mess up. I mean, easy, and I still managed to bounce. But he's found my weak point, my weak spots, which means he's going to be able to get a few shots into me. So by the time I've reloaded, he's then hiding, and it's now a one shot versus a one shot. As long as I don't low roll, you can see him trying to bait me, but I ain't gonna fall for the bait, no chance. But you know, he's still gonna have to make the move because of my supremacy points. He does that, he messes up, and I managed to get the victory. So we still managed to bounce over 1,000 damage, and we do get just shy of 5k, and we do get the mastery badge. So that is the T95, actually a tank I've grown fond of. You know, it's grown on me. Let me know what you think of the T95 in the comments below. But for now, hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you soon. Bye bye.